Video is going to take us through the short-term causes of World War One. All right, and so just to recap this, what we talked about was we talked about how Europe is the context of it all. Europe is at a boiling point. These European nations are pitted against each other in the rival alliances. We talked about Germany and France; they hate each other. They are pitted in, the Triple Alliance, which Germany, Austria, Hungary, Italy are pitted against France, Great Britain, and Russia. The Triple Entente. And they're in case a war breaks out, which it obviously will, it's going to engulf all those nations. They're fighting over territory, over resources abroad. They're with imperialism. They're having conflict there. They're building up their militaries. There's a constant military buildup, which is creating tension with European powers. And then this concept of nationalism is really driving it all, where they're trying to all be the best and try to show that they're superior in every way. And so there's a lot of tension between European countries, but there's also a lot of tension within European countries. All right, so there's four main empires that exist prior to World War One. There's the German Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Russian, and the Ottoman Empire down here, which takes over some of Europe as well. All right, and the reason why there's tension within, if you look at this map, this color-coded map is just Austria-Hungary. All right, and all the different colors represent a bunch of different ethnic groups. All right, you have the Germans, the Hungarians, the Czechs, the Slovaks. You don't have to know specifically what each color is, but a lot of these ethnic groups, they feel it's not like the United States where it's like, oh, it's a melting pot. Everybody's free to speak and worship and live how they want. That's not what's happening there. They have the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The Austro-Hungarian Empire has rules and laws that are in place that they have state religions, they have specific languages, they have these groups of people they feel oppressed that live within this empire, and there's really this cry that, hey, we want to have our own nation so that we can freely live and worship and speak how we want instead of being trapped under another different type of empire. All right, so there's a lot of tension within these great empires. There's Poles, there's Czechs, there's Slovaks. A lot of these countries after the war will get their own country, but there's a lot of tension that exists within these countries because they're trapped in an empire that they don't want to be in, or where they might be oppressed. All right, and another area that has been oppressed is the area called the Balkans. All right, and they actually there's a war that's going to break out just prior to World War One. It's called the Balkan Wars, and what they're going to do is, I showed you the Ottoman Empire. This territory is slowly going to be breaking free from Ottoman rule. All right, the Russians are going to come in. They view themselves as protectors of this area because they have similar common ancestry. They believe in, and we got the Balkans are going to. These countries are going to kind of join together to go to war to free themselves from the Ottoman Empire. And this area is really important to how and why World War One started, especially this territory here, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Just a fun way to say it. That's what I want to say it. And they did it. They won. All right, so they joined together. They joined forces. They got rid of the Ottoman rule, and then what they wanted to do is they said, "All right, great. Now let's create our own nation." All right. So this group of people, they're called Slavic people. All right, they are an ethnic group native to Russian, the Balkans, Eastern Europe. They wanted their own nation, a Yugoslavic, all in one empire, all in one nation. They wanted to be free from after they're free from the Ottoman Empire, they want their own nation, just like all these other ethnic groups did. The Poles, the Slovaks, they all want their own nation. All right, and so they're like, sweet, we just got our freedom from the Ottoman Empire. We can create this Yugoslavic nation where we're all living free, and not so fast. They win their freedom from the Ottoman Empire, but then Austria-Hungary, this territory up north, that massive country, they're going to go in and they're going to take over. They're going to take over a huge chunk of land. They're going to annex it. This huge chunk of land called Bosnia and Herzegovina. I just love saying that. And that's going to effectively put an end to the Slavic. Get that out of there. The Slavic people's hope of having their own country. All right. So that's going to put an end. Where country's hidden down there, but it's there. That's going to put an end to this idea that these people can have their own nation finally. Austria-Hungary doesn't want that. That's going to threaten their livelihood. They want to have access to this Adriatic Sea. So Austria-Hungary, this empire, they're going to take over this territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina, these two territories here, so they can have access to the sea, and it will prevent a larger group of countries joining together, which could threaten their country. So the Slavs are ticked. With the annexation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, they are effectively, that puts an end to this concept that these Slavic people can have their own nation. And they're mad. This group of people are really mad about that. So once again, who's mad about this? Well, you have territories like Serbia is going to be mad about it. They were one of the countries that were driving this point home. They are going to be really upset about this. Obviously, other areas will be as well. But they're mad about this. They wanted to have their own. They wanted to have this massive Slavic nation. All right, so enough of the context. Let's get into what happens. All right, so the heir to Austro-Hungarian throne, this guy right here, the rockin' mustache, that thing is a thing of beauty. He is going to show up. So heir to the throne, once again, that means he's next in line to rule. He's going to go and travel to this new territory that they've just taken over. He's going to go to the capital of Bosnia, which is Sarajevo. All right, Sarajevo is the capital. He's going to visit there. All right, because they just acquired this territory, so he's going to go. And there's Sarajevo right there. They're going to go and travel there. Him and his wife, Sophia, are going to travel. And a terrorist group called the Black Hand is waiting for him. All right, and this is going to be the spark that's going to start the whole thing. They are going to get assassinated. A 19-year-old Bosnian Serb, remember Serbia is that country that's really wanted to have a Yugoslavic nation. He's going to assassinate him. It's really an unbelievable story because they threw bombs at the car. They missed. Everything's in chaos. The car's going around. He eventually gets to the point where they kind of make a wrong turn. They're off their path. And then the car kind of just stops. And it just so happened that it stopped right next to one of the assassins that was just kind of caught in the chaos. He just got, I guess you can say, lucky. I don't know. He stops right next to him. The guy just pulls out a gun and shoots them both. All right, and then make the story even more unbelievable. So, in all the chaos of all the places to stop, that guy happens to stop right next to a potential assassin. After they drove away, and then he tries to kill himself with a poison capsule, but the poison was bad, so he couldn't even kill himself, and so he ends up getting captured. It looks like that guy. All right. So let's get why they shoot him. Why did they do this? Because Austria-Hungary took their territory. They took that Slavic. They took that territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm going to try to say that as much as I can because it's just fun. And so this group, they took their matter into their own hand. The Black Hand took matters into their own hand. You see what I did there? And they were fed up. They were ticked. All right, and so they wanted to try to send a message that you can't do that to us. All right, so we're gonna take you out. The results of the assassination. Now Austria-Hungary is ticked. All right, and they want to hold Serbia, since he is a Bosnian Serb. They want to hold Serbia accountable. So they phone Germany and say, "Hey, what should we do, Germany?" Germany's like, "Do what you want." That's a terrible German accent. But Germany gives Austria-Hungary a blank check. All right, basically they said, "Go ahead and punish Serbia any way you want. You want to go to war? Let's do it. All right, you be as firm as you want to be." Because it's not an actual check, by the way. This is just a mock-up of what it. But it basically they're like, do what you want. Let's go to war. Let's do it. All right, we'll knock Serbia out. All right, we'll send a message that they can't do that to you. So encouraged by Germany's support, and that once again, how did Germany respond? How did they contribute? They encouraged Austria-Hungary to be hardline and to really go after Serbia. All right, and Germany's going to be held responsible for this. All right, they're going to be responsible for starting the whole thing because of this blank check. So it's really important to understand that. It may not make a ton of sense, but they will be. All right, so the results of the assassination, they give Austria-Hungary a 10-point ultimatum. Basically, it's a set of conditions. You have to do this, or else we're going to go to war. Austria-Hungary knew they weren't going to follow it. Plus, they only gave them 48 hours to respond. They were hoping, with the help of Germany, with their German friends, that they'd be able to knock out Serbia without a fight, without the Russians getting involved. They wanted to hold Serbia accountable, and they thought that, hey, this is a great way to extend our borders as well. And then it says, let the mobilization begin. Mobilization is the readying troops of war. Once Russia, who has an alliance with Serbia, they're an ally of Serbia. They consider themselves protectors of the Balkans, a similar ethnicity. Once they heard the ultimatum, they began to mobilize their troops in preparation to help their ally Serbia from an attack against Austria-Hungary. So Russia hears of this blank check, they hear of this ultimatum, and they say, all right, well, if Austria-Hungary attacks, we got to go help Serbia. Well, then the Germany's like, well, wait a minute here. All right, and so this is where it gets these alliances get crazy. Germany's like, whoa, Russia's mobilizing? How dare you? That's an act of war against our friend Austria-Hungary. So we are now declaring war on you, Russia. Well, then France is like, how dare you, Germany? You're gonna declare war on Russia? Well, guess what? I'm gonna declare war on you and Austria-Hungary. All right, and then eventually the UK, Great Britain is they're gonna stay out of it for a little bit, but eventually the Germans are gonna invade through France through this territory called Belgium, and they have an alliance. They have a treaty to make sure Belgium stays neutral. And so once they invade Belgium, the UK hops in, and now all the colonies are involved. Everybody gets in. You obviously have Serbia involved. You're going to get Africa involved. You're going to get all the colonies involved. Eventually, the Ottoman Empire is going to hop in on the side of the red team. Italy is going to join the green team, even though they have the alliance, because they're like, well, you guys started it. Alliances are defense agreements by nature. And so Italy actually doesn't end up fighting on their side during the war. It's chaos. All right. Because of these alliances, once Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia, Russia hops in, and then Germany hops in and declares war on Russia, and then France hops in. Eventually, the United Kingdom's going to hop in. The Ottoman Empire is going to hop in. So a fight that should have taken place maybe between Austria-Hungary and Serbia now has engulfed all of Europe and all of the colonies. All right, so the alliances really played a huge role, and this is one of the images that I talked about. Serbia, Austria-Hungary's mad at Serbia. The Russians hop in to protect them. The Germans hop in to protect them. France hops in to protect them. So it's just, if you ever seen Anchorman, it's like, that escalated quickly. But that's really the spark that started it all. Once again, it wasn't just because the guy got assassinated. It was all the buildup and the alliance systems that were created as a result of the tension in Europe. Why World War I started.